For those of you who just joined, just wanted to spotlight and celebrate Paul. Did a massive second deal here, 40K. And yeah, your journey literally just started and super proud of you. So you just want to quickly share a Sparks Notes version of like your background and then maybe a little bit more details about like the second role here, some of the main takeaways, and the floor is yours.
Awesome. Yeah. So my background's in product management and basically been working in that space for like 10 plus years. Switched over to recruiting. Really honestly enjoy talking to candidates, understanding what they want, what their needs are. I have a client right now, Y Combinator Company, which is like a incubator in the Bay Area, very like I'd say prestigious to get into. And they have a number of roles that they're looking to fill right now. Still two more roles that I'm looking to fill for them. But yeah, I mean, I found it was a founding DevOps role that I filled. And I mean, it didn't go like my first placement at all. It was like I had a good process call or like, kind of intro call with the candidate. I knew that they were a really good fit in terms of their experience, a lot of like 0 to 1 kind of early stage DevOps, setting up infrastructure, that type of thing with a lot of like, super high profile brands and that type of thing. There were some doubts, I think, at first about like, because there's a lot of contracting on his resume, but after he started talking to the co-founder, like they super bonded over his work doing DevOps stuff for games in the gaming industry, which is like also super competitive, really hard kind of work to be doing. And so, yeah, he did a take home very quickly after that and then started a work trial the week of Thanksgiving. And then basically was radio silent. I was like barely even getting texts from him and was texting him for updates, kind of wanted to give him space again around the holiday. But then I think honestly, it was like on Thanksgiving evening or even like the morning. Yeah, I think it was Thanksgiving evening. He texted me and he's like, yeah, like accepted the offer starting. This was the amount. Or no, he didn't even text me. It was the co-founder that texted me. We hired him at this much. Send me an invoice on Monday. And yeah, so fortunately didn't even have to wait net 30. They just like paid it Sunday night. So that was really nice. So again, I like working with these companies because they move quickly, the ones that know what they're looking for. And once they find someone that they're like, this person's really good, they're like all steam ahead kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has any other questions, but it was again, nothing like the first placement I had, which was a lot of process calls after every time talking, it was just a completely different situation.
I think the biggest thing is like you can only control what you can control, right? So a lot of things that I go over on these calls is best practice. And you always want to default to best practice, but not all the time things are going to happen flawlessly. So with this second one, obviously it's super excited for Paul, not just for like the financial number being like a huge placement. It was also just different than the first placement, right? Obviously you want to feel like you had your hand, you had a say every single step from A to Z. But sometimes like this one, you could kind of, I would say luck played a huge role here. Obviously you put in the work, you found the candidate, you found the client, you put the two together. But sometimes you got to have a little luck on your side too. And it just kind of went your way and ended up just being a monster placement, which is amazing. But also a lot of the placements I've done in my career have also been like that too. Sometimes like we just have to do whatever we can to better the odds. And if you can be a little bit better than 50-50 guys, you realize you're doing things a lot better than the average recruiter, right? The probability is in your favor. So even despite the radio silence, like a lot of things, I'm sure Paul coming into it, you're feeling pretty good before the radio silence. Radio silence probably was a little unnerving for you, but yeah, a lot of the placements are gonna be like this. They're just never gonna be flawless, picture perfect placements from A to Z. And the most important thing is just control what you can control and make the best of it. So, afterwards it kind of happened in a way where Paul's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. It didn't happen like my first one. Like, hey, the money's in. You've give tremendous value to the candidate, the client. Great job. Pat on the back. Move on. Focus on the third, fourth, fifth placement. Real quick, if you ever thought about starting your own recruitment agency or you're a recruiter struggling to land clients, you'll want to check out our coaching and implementation program. Inside, I give you the exact scripts, the outreach templates, and acquisition systems I used to hit over $500,000 my first year, scale to over $100,000 months, and do over $5 million in placements on my own desk. Our students are already hitting $30,000, $50,000, even $80,000 per month or more. Many of them doing it part-time. So if you want to learn the same playbook, the link's below. It's exactly what I use. Now back to the video. So, Paul has been on a pretty fast journey the past couple weeks, but can I just ask you, Paul, what was like the biggest takeaway that you learned after your first placement? And then what was kind of the biggest placement you learned after your second? Because I think the first one, it could be a little imposter syndrome, like, oh, is this actually real? Like, do I know what I'm doing? Is this also, am I just lucky all the time as well, right? So can you just kind of share with us a little bit what your thoughts are?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I still definitely feel a little bit of that after just having two placements. My first placement was someone who I just like knew in my network would have been a great fit for the role, and they'd been looking for a while, and it's kind of a niche space, so like that worked out really well. So like that was very much like, oh yeah, I just happened to know someone who was like a good fit. And then the second one was different because it was like cold outreach, connected with with someone, you know, I think I got them on the phone like immediately as soon as they responded. I was like, call me. And I think I knew they were going to be a strong candidate just from talking to them on the phone, because like knowing the founders and having worked with them and then talking to this guy on the phone, I was like, I think it's just going to be a good fit, like for sure culturally. Like I didn't even know from a skill set at that point. So that again was very different because, you know, again, I generally thought he had the right technical skills, but I think it was honestly more on the cultural side. And then just also making sure, like, I think communicating the culture was like a huge part of this because he is remote. Just being like setting expectations, like, yeah, this is a Y Combinator company. These guys work all the time. Like, they will be, you know, very much being upfront about, like, yeah, that's going to be part of this role. And I think this guy coming from the agency space is like used to that because like agencies do grind, you know, they're software engineers typically. So yeah, again, I think where one was, again, felt like a lot more, I guess, luck, but this one felt more like making sure things were very much communicated up front. But like, because he was more of a senior person too, he just took the reins on like negotiating. And he told me before, he's like, I'm going to shoot for this number. And I'm like, cool. Like, that's a great number. I think that that's still in the ballpark of like the salary band, but like realistically, it's probably going to be this. Again, setting expectations around culture and salary were like, I think the two factors that kind of helped close the deal with him.
Nice. And what are you going to focus on for like your third, fourth, fifth place you have moving forward?
Well, they're all such different roles. So it's like, I think I want to make sure I have more process calls, like, because this last one, I just didn't have very many and it felt like it came out of nowhere. I just didn't feel like I had much control over it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something. But I think it also depends on the type of candidate. Like if they're really unsure about the position, then like it's important to build a better relationship with them and make sure that like, you know, the information that they're concerned about is like addressed. Like for this guy that I placed, it wasn't really that was the case. It was like he was doing a thing that he was already very, very good at and he knew exactly what it would entail. And again, it was more again focusing on the culture and working with, you know, a small young team.
But kudos to you for finding someone that aligns perfectly for that job. Like your targeting and sourcing is spot on. So super proud of you. I hope you're working on those other two jobs with the same client. I think you are, right? So
yes, hopefully I get to close at least one or two of those by the end of this month.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, it would be absolutely incredible if you can do at least one or two. You're getting close to like your first 100K in revenue. And so that's only what, 2 more placements, maybe 3 to be conservative, but 2 to 3 placements and you're there already, Paul. Hey guys, Preston here. Just wanted to come in and make this quick video spotlighting one of our fastest growing students at the recruiter school right now. I'm super proud of him. He had a really successful career in product, specifically in tech, before he came into our program. When he came into our program, he was extremely skeptical, asking a lot of hard-hitting questions, being extremely cautious, but he was able to kind of really overcome that and overcome his first hurdle and really started to go from being a skeptic to now embracing the whole process and what we coach here at the recruiter school. And since then, it just honestly went down super smooth for him in terms of his business, how he launched it, his rise. He did his first placement fairly quickly. It was pretty sizable, 22,000 placement. And then just a couple weeks, literally several weeks later, he ended up doing a mammoth placement with his own direct client, yielding him 40,000 US dollars, which is amazing. He's over halfway to his first 6 figures. And to see his journey in a short amount of time from, you know, skeptic, dubious professional to now being like a proud business owner who is not only confident in himself, but also confident in his abilities on how he can navigate this business into the future, hopefully yielding a lot more placements, fingers crossed sometime really, really soon, is something that's just been extremely fulfilling for me to be able to watch from the sidelines. And the fact that he's just so close to getting his first 100K. And if he smashes that, you know, 150, 200K, the sky's the limit in terms of what he can do. And just really proud to kind of share his journey here. And also just really grateful to have him in our lives, in our network now, developing a friendship with him and just seeing an amazing business owner that's come to fruition in just a matter of a couple months. And so really proud of him. Hope you enjoy this small little clip where he talks about his second placement, but his confidence went from 0 to literally 1,000%. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends this year, this month that just started, with another 2, 3, 4 placements, absolutely crushing his goal. So hope you enjoy it.